just a point on Solskjær before we move on, Liam. I don't think we've talked to you about it. We talked to Didi a little bit, and John. I talked to Didi and John last week. There's a lot of people who nodded their heads sagely and said, yeah, Manchester United had to give him the job after the PSG result. The fact that they got into the quarterfinal of the Champions League and looked like they were going to finish in the top four. I certainly nodded my head sagely. I can't quite remember what I said, but it was generally, well, I'm sure you can or somebody can. No, I was generally sort of saying, okay, I approve. You can't deny that he has turned this ship around. I've now changed my mind, and I think the job is too big for him. But I mean, first of all, I'd like to know what you think. And secondly, if you'd agree, and indeed John, that looking at their team and looking at them against West Ham, no matter who was there, if God himself was there, you'd have a hell of a job making a really formidable championship winning team out of that squad.
Well, yeah, but that's not his fault, is it?
No, absolutely not.
He's got the job on the back of as we have said, getting the team into contention for the top four, where it didn't look like that was going to be possible under Mourinho. Having a run in the Champions League that possibly is going to come to an end, or probably going to come to an end this week. So that's the reason he got the job. Now that he has the job, he has to go about, doing a lot of things to that squad. They have to get rid of a lot of players. And we talked about Sanchez, like last week. I think John was saying, well, you just have to get rid of these people. And they have, and the club have got to back them. And even if it costs them money, there's got to be a real makeover of that squad,
Yeah.
Even watching Pogba against West Ham, you'd be inclined to think, well, how long are you going to put up with this guy?
Yeah.
I know he scored from the penalty, but he's messing about in the middle of the park. He's dribbling where he shouldn't be, and he's having the ball taken off him. And, and Solskjær has got to sort those things out. But we've got to see whether he can do it, whether he has the capacity to do it, whether he has the determination to do it. Someone like Alex Ferguson would be able to do it,
Yeah.
Solskjær has that question mark, and I think that the whole club have got to help him sort this situation out,
Yeah.
The chief executive has his work cut out. If the whole squad needs changing over. We talked about how good Van Dijk is. Manchester United absolutely need a really top class centre back, and they've got to find that for Solskjær. Because with this squad, as you say, he's not going to win anything.
No. John, where were you on Solskjær when he got the job?
I was said it on your program on record, Eamon. I wouldn't have agreed. I didn't agree.
You didn't?
No. I think Pochettino was there was a lot of talk. I would have gone for Pochettino, and I'm not sat there now because the results haven't been good. Right. Because I believed he was ideal for the situation to go into. As they say, put his arm around the players, and he did get the best from them, and he did very, very well in what he had to do. It was a certain type of job. Like all jobs, it needed certain types of people to go into.
You need a big character to go into Manchester United.
Well, you do now. He's done everything that's been asked of him. This
is Solskjær.
To do what he did. But what I believe is that when you get past that situation and you're looking to the next step, then it's a different story altogether. What was needed was what they needed. Now, what I believe is there's somebody else needed, like a Pochettino, to continue it on. Yeah. So I wasn't in agreement of him getting the job, and that it's early days yet. Good luck, he might do what's needed to be done. But in my opinion, I wouldn't have given the job. I would have gone for some Pochettino in particular.
Yeah, and someone with presence as well, because if you look at the two great Manchester United managers, and all the great managers really, from Wenger to Ferguson to Matt Busby to Don Revie to Bill Shankly, you do need a large character and strength and stuff that on the face of it, Ole Gunnar Solskjær doesn't possess.
Yeah, we don't know him.
He's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. But he's not a
popular guy.
What you find in situations, it depends what situation the manager goes into, right? I think in Solskjær's case, after the Mourinho
yes.
management and his manner and the way he upset a lot of people, he humiliated a lot of people, that needed to be fixed. Right.
Yeah.
Now, Solskjær was the ideal man. He's a very good-mannered lad, and he's putting his arm around him, got a smile.
Former Manchester United player.
Yeah. And players also wanted to show it was the manager's fault that they weren't doing well.
Yeah.
Now, once the end of the season comes, it's a different job altogether. He might and should buy. I think you and Liam are saying, say 3 or 4 new players. Eamon, if he buys 3 or 4 new players, he's going to upset 3 or 4 players that are already there.
Yeah.
So you come into a different job altogether.
Yep.
Now, I can imagine Ferguson and any of these great managers, you saying, right, that's it. This is what we do.
Yep.
Now, Solskjær has to be able to do that.
Yep.
And I doubt if he has the personality and the temperament or whatever's needed to do that particular job. For his sake, I hope I'm wrong. But the point of making the appointment when he did, when the 3-year contract, I wouldn't have done it for what it's worth. I would have got Pochettino or somebody else.
Just a point that Liam made, which I strongly agree with, about Pogba. I think Pogba's messing. I think he's talking up going to Real Madrid, saying the greatest club in the world and all of that. I think that Solskjær hasn't got performances out of him. Although he's taken the penalties now, he's acting the leader.
Yeah, when he's acting it, and there's a difference between acting it and doing it, you know. I think, again, from Solskjaer's case and Mourinho's case, he was ideal for Pogba to cope. Pogba had been humiliated by Mourinho and then needed to show. And then there was there was a good change of position too, as well. You know, whoever was responsible for that in Pogba's case, it was definitely because they took the responsibility off from being in the middle and midfield and gave him like a free role, which is the only one he can do. But with Pogba, I mean, you know, he's what we call a modern player. You wouldn't know what was in his head.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought, well, Real Madrid are out there. That'd be a nice, because he's hinted it quite a few times. Oh, it'd be lovely to go to Real Madrid. So he's only worried about himself and thinking about himself. In my opinion, he's only thinking about himself. He's not thinking about Solskjaer or anybody else anyway. Eamon. So it might well be that he could still go. If I were the manager of Manchester, I'd let him go.
Yeah.
And get the 100 million in and buy 2 or 3 really top class players with it.
Okay, if he gets 100 million for Pogba now, John, I think Solskjaer is a genius.